Hi, folks. Welcome once again to Mr. H's weekly recap. This week, we'll be giving you guys some updates on some events that are going on this week, but also, obviously, what's going on in our Gov Econ and World History classes. Let's get the kind of bureaucratic stuff out of the way first. This Thursday is Parents' Night. It runs from about 6:30 till 8. Parents will be following their students' schedules from homeroom on through to fourth block. So we encourage as many parents as possible to come out, say hello, and see kind of what our classes are all about kind of in person here at the high school. Obviously, weather providing, because there is a little threat of snow suddenly upon us. Also, we wanted to kind of clarify for some questions that were asked, mainly by your students. Right now, if you go through the portal, there are some assignments in there, and there also is a column for syllabus letters, and some of your students might have a big missing right now, but it's not impacting their grade per se. That is because that is intro paperwork that we need back. So obviously, if you're a parent, you have access to the portal. You see that missing. It doesn't mean your student is missing assignment, but they are missing something just as important, that introductory paperwork. So ask your students about it if you can. And obviously, we'll be following up with some phone calls here in the next couple of days as we try to get that paperwork in order. Excuse me. Let's start. Excuse me. Let's start by talking about a little bit of what our world history guys are doing. This week was kind of a week of firsts. We have our first current event quiz coming up on Friday. We will have our first exam next Monday, the 13th, which is our culture exam. So encourage your students to study up for that. We'll also be doing our first round of Socratic Smackdown. This is a debate style that I kind of have been experimenting with here in the honors classes. And basically what it does is kind of hearken some of their skills when it comes to DBQ reading, evidence collection, and also kind of presenting kind of their points to a historical question and backing it up with evidence. And obviously this is all meant to be in preparation for our first DBQ assignment, which is going to be coming up here in the next few weeks. And so obviously we're going to do some little writing strategies with that, but mainly we want to get the students acclimated to using primary documents, creating arguments, supporting those arguments with the documents, and kind of going from there. So that will be kind of an interesting discussion. Our first topic was about the Middle Ages, kind of where we're starting right now, and we'll kind of see where they go in coming weeks. We usually try to do one of those smackdowns each Wednesday throughout the course of the semester unless something else is going on. Right now, as far as content, we've just wrapped up the Middle Ages. We've begun a new unit. We're done with culture. We're into history. And we'll be hitting the rest of the week. The Renaissance is usually a popular topic. And then we also try to get into a little bit of the early history of the Catholic Church, kind of prepping us and eventually taking us to the Reformation, which is kind of another big milestone in the unit. That will also kind of help us out as we prepare for a guest speaker that's going to be coming towards the end of the month. Dr. Donald Graybill, who's a professor at E-Town College and is an expert on kind of the Counter-Reformation period, but also kind of a more localized collection, has been kind of known for his research on the Amish and the Mennonites, kind of a byproduct of that Counter-Reformation period. He'll be here, and obviously he'll want to do some stuff with the honor students, kind of test their knowledge, but also answer their questions about this period as well. And so we're lucky to have him, and we want to try to get students ready to go content-wise for that. For the Gov students, we're kind of just working our way through the Econ unit. We finished up the Fed, had the students take on the role of Fed governors and kind of look at some economic scenarios that they would attack if they were in those positions, and the good and the bad that come with those decisions. We did a quick little crash course on the stock market and kind of how that works, went over some basic terminology, and kind of talked about why that's important in the economy. And then the rest of the week is really going to be focused on fiscal policy, looking at the national debt, looking at how governments kind of create debt, and in some cases how that debt can be detrimental to the health of a nation and an economy. And then also, hopefully before the week is over, talking about the ever-present topic of taxes. Maybe pull out the W-2 and maybe work through it a little bit with the students and kind of show them kind of how the money moves from place to place and where it goes, and kind of why it's important to reveal certain pieces of information when you do your taxes. Obviously, I know a lot of students do TurboTax, but just kind of as a little starter activity, we like to bring out the W-2 from time to time. This week also, students are participating as kind of their weekly assignment in a national conversation called The First 100 Days, and basically this is something that's sponsored by PBS and NPR, National Public Radio. They are asking young people across the country, through words, through video, through art, What are the issues that you're most concerned about in the first 100 days of the new presidency, the new administration, the Trump administration? And students will be recording kind of little video diary entries and kind of posting them to the national conversation. So we're looking forward to see what students come up with that, what issues they feel passionate about, and just kind of get the conversation going as we move through econ and get ready to hit politics. Um, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to email. We'll try to answer them. Come out to Parents Night, and we will see you guys next time.